Hey, before we dive in, if you're into stories that'll mess with your head, hit subscribe and drop a like. Comment where you're watching from and what you're up to right now. All right, let's get into it. The seal on my skin won't stop pulsing. And the voices, they're not just whispers anymore. 3 months since the threshold collapsed, and the smell of iron and ozone still clings to me. It's inside me now, woven into my cells. A permanent reminder of the night everything ended. I'm living in a cabin 40 miles deep in the Oregon forests. No electricity, no cell service. Just me, a wood stove, and silence that makes my ears ring. The isolation is intentional, far from anything that might recognize what I've become. The mark is spreading. It started as faint lines on my palms. Now it covers both forearms, intricate patterns that pulse independent of my heartbeat. Sometimes they glow in the dark. Sometimes they burn so hot I have to plunge my arms into the creek just to make it stop. I'm connected to something. Something Alandril woke when he took that bone knife. Alandril, not Elandiel. I know his real name now. He told me during one of the blackouts. The blackout started a month ago. I'll be doing something ordinary. And then there's nothing. I come to hours later in different locations. Once I woke up 6 miles away, standing waist deep in a frozen river, barefoot and bleeding. Another time I came to on the roof, crouched like an animal. During the blackouts, I see a castle in mountains shrouded by mist. Stone towers that breathe. Stained glass windows shifting colors. And always the sound of wings. Something massive moving through air with enough force to crack stone. I hear voices speaking Enochian, the tongue of angels. One phrase repeats constantly. Enoch still lives. Tonight is worse. The mark burns so intensely I can smell my skin cooking. I'm sitting on the floor, breathing through clenched teeth when I feel it. A presence. The temperature drops instantly. My breath crystallizes. The wood stove dies as if the oxygen vanished. Pure golden light floods the cabin, obliterating shadows. A voice vibrates through everything, not sound. Pressure. Bearer of the broken seal. I can't move, can't breathe. This power is focused, ancient. The seal is unstable. The bearer and the fallen are one. If the bond fractures without control, the firmament will bleed again. Wings materialize in the light, massive, layered with eyes that see through me. Seek Enoch Darren. He holds the answer even heaven dares not keep. Then it's gone. The stove reignites. I collapse, gasping. A messenger from Michael. I know enough from the threshold to recognize what just happened. Angels send messengers when it's urgent. You still there? I whisper. Always. Alandril's voice comes from inside my skull. What was that? A messenger of Michael, the archangel who cast Lucifer down. Why me? Because the seal is failing. When I took the knife, I broke a covenant. The Watchers weren't just guardians, they were jailers. His voice tightens. I freed what they were imprisoning, the old tenant. And when I broke the seal, it bound itself to me, through me to you. My stomach drops. So I'm a gateway? A threshold, you always were. That's why you survived. Enoch Darren, who is he? A Nephilim. Half angel, half human. He's lived centuries in contact with Michael. If the archangel sent you to him, he has answers even heaven doesn't. Where? North. Cascade Mountains. An abbey in the peaks. Follow the mark. It will guide you. And if I don't? Silence. Then quietly, the seal shatters. The creature breaks free. This world becomes its feeding ground. I close my eyes. When do I leave? Dawn. I don't sleep. I pack what little I have and wait for first light. In my mind, I see the castle from my visions. Stone towers in mist, stained glass bleeding color, and a figure waiting at the gates. Enoch. At dawn, I drive north. The Honda starts on the third try. I follow back roads, climbing into the Cascades. The mark on my arms warms as I go, guiding me without a map. By nightfall, I'm deep in the mountains on a trail that's barely a road. Then I see it through the mist. Stone walls. Ancient. An abbey that shouldn't exist here. The gate stands open. I walk through the empty courtyard. No lights, no sound. Just my footsteps on frost-covered stone. The main door swings open when I push it. Darkness swallows me. Then candles ignite throughout a massive chamber. Stone pillars, stained glass showing angels and demons in combat. An empty throne. At the center before an altar stands a man, tall, silver eyes that shine impossibly young in an aged face. "You came," he says quietly. "Michael said you would." "Enoch Darren?" He nods. "And you carry Alandril's mark." He studies me with those silver eyes, then sighs with centuries of weariness. "Come, we have little time." He leads me to a smaller chamber with a fire burning. We sit, and he speaks. The threshold was a temporary solution to a problem from the First War. After Lucifer fell, there were remnants, pieces that couldn't be destroyed, so they were sealed. The old tenant was one. The Watchers weren't just keeping peace. They were keeping it contained. And Alandril broke the seal. He bonded himself to it, intentionally. The creature needs an anchor to manifest. Alandril became that bridge, and through him, you. Enoch leans forward. Unless we sever the connection, hope flares. You can do that? There's a castle deep in these mountains, built where Michael fought Lucifer, where the First War reached its end. The ground there is sacred, scarred. Beneath it lies an artifact, a collar forged from celestial silver, bathed in Michael's blood when he struck down the Morning Star. And it can bind the creature. It can bind Alandril, which may sever your connection. His expression darkens. But the ritual requires willingness from both of you, and it will take pieces of each. You'll lose something of yourself, your humanity perhaps, your memories, the ability to exist without his presence. And if I don't, the creature breaks free, uses you both as anchors, pulls itself into this world. I think of Tobias, Vera, everyone already dead, everyone who will die if I don't stop this. When do we leave? Enoch nods with respect. Tomorrow at first light. I've contacted the Guardians of the Balance. Brother Matthias will meet us at the castle. He gives me a journal. Read this tonight. It's an account of the First War. You need to understand what you're walking into. He shows me to a room with a bed. I lie down staring at the ceiling. The mark pulses steadily. You heard? I whisper. Every word, Alandril replies. And? A long pause. Then quietly. I'm afraid. It's the first time he's admitted it. Me too. Outside wind howls through the peaks, and in the distance I hear it. Wings. Massive, ancient, drawing closer. Dawn breaks cold over the abbey. I didn't sleep. Couldn't. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw the castle from my visions. Stone breathing, glass bleeding color, and something waiting inside. Enoch finds me in the courtyard, staring at the mountains. He's dressed for travel now. Practical clothing under his robes, a pack on his back. Ready? He asks. I nod. What else can I say? We leave the abbey on foot. The terrain is too rough for vehicles beyond this point. Enoch moves with impossible grace, never stumbling, never slowing. I struggle to keep pace, my breath coming hard in the thin mountain air. Tell me about the First War, I say, needing to fill the silence. Enoch glances back. What do you want to know? Why did Lucifer fall? Pride. But not the kind you're thinking. He navigates around a boulder. Lucifer loved creation more than the Creator. He saw humanity's suffering and wanted to fix it, to make paradise without cost. Michael argued that choice, even painful choice, was the point. They fought. Heaven itself cracked from the force of it. and Michael won. Michael struck him down, but at great cost. The battle scarred reality, created weak points where things could slip through, places that needed to be sealed. Like the threshold, like the old tenant. We walk for hours. The mark on my arms burns steadily, pulling me forward, guiding. Around midday we crest a ridge, and I see it. The castle. Massive stone walls rising from the mountainside like they grew there. Towers reaching toward clouds that seem to part around them. The architecture is wrong somehow. Too perfect. Too intentional. Like it was built by something that understood geometry on a level humans never could. The Castle of First Blood, Enoch says quietly. Built by angels after the war. A monument, a warning, a tomb. What's buried there? Memories. The ground remembers everything that happened, every sword stroke, every prayer, every drop of blood spilled when beings of pure light tried to kill each other. We descend toward it. The air grows heavier with each step, pressure building in my skull. The mark on my arms flares hot, then cold, then hot again. Alandril's presence inside me churns, restless. He's afraid of this place, I whisper. He should be, Enoch replies. We reach the outer walls as the sun begins its descent. The gates stand open, rusted iron hanging from ancient hinges. Beyond, a courtyard overgrown with vegetation that looks wrong. Too dark, too still. Nothing living moves here. Then I see them. Figures in gray robes emerging from the shadows. 5 of them. Men and women with faces weathered by devotion and secrets. They move like Enoch, with that same impossible grace. The Guardians, Enoch says. Brother Matthias leads them. The oldest of the group steps forward. Bald, scarred, eyes that have seen centuries compress into moments. He looks at me with something between pity and respect. The bearer, he says. His voice is rough, like stones grinding. You carry a heavy burden. I didn't ask for it. No one ever does. He turns to Enoch. The castle has been restless. Since we arrived yesterday, the stones have been moving, reshaping, like it knows what's coming. It does, Enoch says. It's been waiting for this. Brother Matthias nods gravely. Then we should begin. The longer we delay, the harder the separation will be. We enter the castle proper. Inside, the air is thick with something I can't name. Not quite smell, not quite taste. Presence, history. Violence so old it's calcified into the architecture itself. The walls are covered in symbols. Enochian script burned into stone. I can read some of it now, though I don't know how. Here fell the proud. Here light devoured light. Here the firmament wept. We descend through corridors that seem to shift when I'm not looking directly at them. The guardians move ahead and behind, forming a protective circle. Their hands never stray far from weapons I can't quite see but can feel. Sacred things. Dangerous things. The collar is beneath the main altar, Enoch explains as we walk. In a vault, sealed by Michael himself. Only one marked by divine presence can open it. You mean me. You and Alandril both. The mark you carry is his signature, and through him, the creatures. But it's also been touched by Michael's messenger. You exist between states now, neither wholly one thing nor another. That's what gives you access. We reach the central chamber. It's vast, the ceiling lost in shadows high above. The floor is mosaic, depicting the battle. Angels with flaming swords, demons with teeth and eyes and wings made of darkness. And at the center, 2 figures locked in combat. Michael, radiant and terrible. Lucifer, beautiful and broken. The altar rises from the mosaic like it grew there. Black stone veined with gold. And behind it, set into the wall, is a door. No handle, no visible mechanism. Just a smooth surface covered in the same symbols that mark my arms. Place your hands on the door, Enoch instructs. Both of you. You and Alandril together. I approach slowly. My heart hammers against my ribs. The mark on my arms is blazing now, bright enough to see through my clothes. I can feel Alandril inside me, pressing forward, eager and terrified in equal measure. I place my palms against the door. The stone is ice cold, then burning hot, then something beyond temperature. The symbols on the door flare brilliant blue, matching the ones on my skin, and inside my head, Alandril speaks, but not to me. He's speaking in Enochian, words of power and supplication and ancient authority. The door shudders. Cracks appear in the stone, spreading like lightning. Light pours through them, golden and blinding. Then the door simply dissolves, transforms into mist that dissipates into the air. Beyond is a small chamber. At its center, on a pedestal of white stone, rests the collar. It's beautiful and terrible. Silver so pure it seems to glow from within. The metal is twisted into intricate patterns, each loop and curve inscribed with microscopic script. And running through it all, veins of something that isn't metal, something red that pulses faintly. Michael's blood, crystallized, eternal. Don't touch it yet, Brother Matthias warns. We need to prepare the ritual first. The guardians begin working immediately. They draw symbols on the floor around the altar, in what looks like salt mixed with ash. They light candles at precise positions. They chant in low voices, harmonizing in ways that make my bones vibrate. Enoch stands beside me, watching. Once we begin, there's no stopping. The ritual will either succeed or fail catastrophically. What happens if it fails? The collar will reject Alandril. The feedback will likely destroy both of you from the inside. And the creature will manifest instantly, using your death as its gateway. So no pressure. He almost smiles. None at all. The preparations take hours. The sun sets outside. Moonlight streams through windows I swear weren't there before, painting everything in silver and shadow. The castle itself seems to be breathing, the walls expanding and contracting with a rhythm that matches my heartbeat. Finally, Brother Matthias approaches. We're ready. Take the collar. I step into the chamber, reach for the pedestal. My fingers close around the collar, and the world explodes into sensation. Images flood my mind. I see the battle. I see Michael and Lucifer circling each other, both bleeding light that burns the air around them. I see the moment Michael's blade finds its mark, piercing Lucifer's chest, and I feel the morning star's anguish. Not pain, grief, the sorrow of being struck down by someone he loved. I see Michael weeping as Lucifer falls, see him collapse, blood pouring from a dozen wounds, and understand that this wasn't a triumph. It was a tragedy, the worst possible outcome in a situation where there were no good choices. The vision fades. I'm back in the chamber, collar in my hands, gasping. The guardians are staring at me with wide eyes. You saw it, Enoch says softly. The truth they don't tell. That the war wasn't good against evil. It was family against family. Love turned to violence because there was no other way. I nod, unable to speak. Come, Brother Matthias says, to the altar. They position me in the center of the salt circle. The collar rests in my hands, heavy and warm and alive with power I can barely comprehend. The guardians form a ring around me, hands raised, chanting. Enoch stands directly in front of me. Call him forth. Bring Alandril into this space. Give him form. How? Stop resisting. Stop trying to keep him contained. Open yourself completely. Every instinct screams against it, but I do it anyway. I release the barriers I've been maintaining, the walls I've built to keep him separate from me. I invite him in fully. The effect is immediate. My body convulses. Light pours from my mouth, my eyes, the marks on my arms. It coalesces in the air before me, taking shape, forming into something that's both Alandril and not. A figure identical to me, but with eyes of pure radiance and wings that fold from his back like smoke given structure. He looks at me. I look at him. We're mirror images, two halves of something that was never meant to be whole. "Hello?" he says with my voice. The Guardian's chanting intensifies. Brother Matthias steps forward, hands outstretched. "Alandril of the Third Choir, fallen servant of the Morning Council, do you accept this binding?" Alandril's eyes never leave mine. For a long moment he says nothing. Then, quietly, "I accept." "And you?" Matthias turns to me. "Bearer of the mark, bridge between worlds, do you accept the cost of separation?" I think of Tobias, Vera, everyone already gone, everyone I might save. "I accept. Then let it be sealed." I raise the collar. Alandril bows his head. The moment the silver touches his neck, the world turns white. Pain. Indescribable. Like being torn in half and burned and frozen simultaneously. I feel pieces of myself being ripped away, memories fragmenting, emotions bleeding out, parts of my humanity evaporating like water on hot stone. But Alandril is screaming too, his divine nature being compressed, diminished, forced into constraints that shouldn't be possible. His wings crumble, his light dims, he's being reduced, made less than he was. The collar clicks shut, the chamber erupts, light explodes from the altar, blinding and absolute. The castle shudders, every stone vibrating. I hear voices singing, thousands of them, in languages that predate human speech. The first choir, the original angels, bearing witness, then silence. I collapse. Alandril collapses. We fall to opposite sides of the circle, no longer connected, no longer one. For the first time in 3 months, I'm alone in my own head. The absence is deafening. Brother Matthias is first to reach me. His face is pale, streaked with sweat. It's done. I try to sit up. My body feels wrong, lighter somehow, like parts of me have been scooped out, leaving hollow spaces. When I look at my arms, the marks are fading, not gone but dimming to faint scars. Across the circle, Alandril stirs. The collar gleams around his neck, pulsing with that same golden-red light. His wings are gone. His eyes, while still bright, no longer shine with divine radiance. He looks human, almost. "How do you feel?" Enoch asks, kneeling beside me. "Empty," I whisper. "Like I'm missing pieces." "You are, as is he." Enoch helps me stand. "The binding took what it needed, but you're both alive, both separate. And the creature?" He trails off, looking toward the floor. The mosaic is changing. The image of the battle shifting, transforming. New figures appearing. And at the center where Michael and Lucifer fought, a new symbol forms, a circle, incomplete, waiting. "The old tenant," I breathe. "Where is it?" Brother Matthias closes his eyes, reaching out with senses I don't have. When he opens them, his expression is grim. Contained, for now. The separation weakened its anchor, but didn't destroy it. It's dormant, trapped in the place where the threshold fell. So we didn't stop it. You prevented its manifestation. That's not nothing. He looks at Alandril, who's now standing, testing his new limitations. But the threat remains. Someone will need to guard it, to maintain the seal. The castle shudders again. Not violently, more like recognition. The walls pulse with that breathing rhythm, and I realize it's matching our heartbeats now. Mine and Alandril's both. A voice fills the chamber, not sound, pressure, authority beyond comprehension. The balance is restored. Michael, not present, but speaking through the castle itself. The sanctum is born. The stones begin to change. Walls reshape. Corridors shift. The castle is transforming, becoming something new, something alive and aware and purposeful. One human elevated, one angel diminished. Together you will guard the threshold between light and darkness. I look at Alandril. He looks at me. Neither of us speaks, but understanding passes between us. This is our burden now, our responsibility, the price of survival. The war continues, but here, in this place, there is balance. The presence fades, the castle settles, and when the trembling stops, everything is different. The chamber is larger. The corridors beyond have multiplied. I can feel the structure extending, growing, creating spaces that shouldn't fit but somehow do. The threshold sanctum has awakened. Brother Matthias looks around in wonder. In all my years, I've never seen a living sanctuary. What does it mean? I ask. Enoch's expression is solemn. It means the castle has chosen you, both of you, as its guardians. Its purpose now is to maintain balance, to provide sanctuary for those caught between worlds, just as the old threshold did, but on a grander scale. I didn't ask for this, I say again. No, Archangel speaks for the first time since the binding, his voice hoarse. But we're suited for it nonetheless, neither fully one thing nor another, human and angel, light and shadow, the perfect guardians for a place between. He's right. I hate that he's right. The guardians begin gathering their implements. Brother Matthias approaches us both. We'll stay for a time, help you learn the sanctum's ways. But eventually, this will be yours alone to manage. And Enoch? I look for the Nephilim. He's standing by a window, silver eyes reflecting moonlight. I'll remain nearby. Michael has other tasks for me, but I'll return when needed. He turns. You did well, both of you. Well, the sacrifice you made today, it may have saved more lives than you'll ever know. I want to feel pride, relief, something, but all I feel is hollow, like the person I was died in that circle, and what's left is something else, something new and strange and not quite human anymore. Archangel crosses to me. Without the connection, I can't sense his emotions, can't read his thoughts. He's foreign to me now, separate. I'm sorry, he says quietly, for Tobias, for Vera, for what I took from you. I want to hate him, should hate him. But standing here, seeing him diminished and bound and chained to this place same as me, I can't summon the anger. We're stuck together now, I say instead. Might as well make the best of it. He almost smiles. Indeed. Over the following days, the sanctum continues to evolve. Rooms appear where there were none. Libraries fill with books. Armories stock with weapons both mundane and holy. The castle is creating itself, building the infrastructure needed for its purpose. The guardians teach us what they can, how to read the sanctum's moods, how to identify those seeking sanctuary versus those seeking trouble, how to maintain the wards and strengthen the boundaries. Enoch departs after a week, promising to return. Brother Matthias and his order stay longer, but eventually they too must leave. And then it's just us, me and Archangel, human and angel, guarding the threshold between worlds. The first visitor arrives on a night when storm clouds gather over the peaks. A woman, bleeding from wounds that glow with unnatural light. A witch running from something that wants her dead. The sanctum's doors open for her. Allow her entry. And we understand. This is our purpose now, our penance and our calling. 3 months since the binding. 3 months learning what it means to be a guardian. The sanctum has settled into itself. The walls no longer shift unexpectedly. The rooms stay where they're supposed to. It's learned us, adapted to our presence. The south wing responds to me, warm and wooden and human in scale. The north wing answers to Archangel, cold stone and vaulted ceilings that echo with something otherworldly. We don't talk much. Don't need to. The connection is gone, but we've developed something else. An understanding, a rhythm. He manages the visitors who come seeking divine intervention. I handle those running from mundane threats that became supernatural. The first month was hardest. Learning to exist without him in my head felt like losing a limb. Phantom sensations. reaching for thoughts that weren't there. And I know he felt it too, though he never said. The loss of his divinity left him hollow in ways I recognize because I feel them in myself. We're both less than we were, both more than we should be. The visitors come in steady streams now. Word spreads in the hidden world. There's a new sanctuary, a place between, where the rules are simple. No violence within these walls, no judgment, just shelter for those who need it. Tonight I'm in the library when I feel it, a disturbance, not within the sanctum, but approaching. Something powerful, something that makes the marked scars on my arms tingle with warning. I find Alandril already at the main entrance, staring into the darkness beyond the gates. The collar at his neck pulses faintly, its light matching his quickened heartbeat. "You feel it?" he asks without turning. "Yeah. What is it?" "Trouble." The figure that emerges from the storm is massive, 8 feet tall, wrapped in shadows that move wrong. Red eyes burning in a face that's too angular to be human. A demon. A real one, not some possessed human or minor imp. This is old power, dangerous power. It stops at the threshold, just beyond the sanctum's boundary. Watches us with intelligence and malice. "I come for sanctuary," it says, voice like gravel in a crusher. Alandril's hand moves toward a weapon that isn't there. Old instincts. Sanctuary is for those who honor its laws. I will honor them while I'm here. The demon's smile reveals too many teeth. Hunters pursue me. I require respite. I step forward, ignoring Alandril's warning glance. "What did you do?" "Nothing that concerns you, human." "Everything that happens here concerns me." I meet those burning eyes, refusing to look away. The sanctum doesn't shelter those who prey on the innocent. The demon's expression shifts. Surprise, maybe. It tilts its head, studying me. "You're marked. Not quite human anymore, are you? I can smell the change on you." "Answer the question." A pause. Then, "I killed a man, a hunter who tracked me to Portland. Self-defense. And before that, I lived quietly. Fed on fear and anger. Yes, that's my nature. But I harmed no one. Not in 50 years. I glance at Alandril. He's watching the demon with an expression I can't read. Can you tell if it's lying? No. The collar limits my abilities to sense such things. He turns those diminished but still bright eyes on me. This is your call. The South Wing answers to you. If you grant sanctuary, I'll respect it. The weight of the decision settles on my shoulders. In the old threshold, the Watchers made these choices. Here, it's us. Me and Alandril, trying to maintain balance with incomplete information and compromised judgment. I look at the demon, really look. Beyond the terrifying exterior, I see exhaustion, fear, even. It's running, desperate. And desperation makes people, makes anything, dangerous. 3 days, I say finally. You can stay 3 days, but if you break the sanctum's laws, if you harm anyone here or bring violence to this place, you're done. Understood? The demon nods slowly. Understood. It crosses the threshold. The sanctum's doors open. And I feel the structure accept it, reluctantly, the way you'd accept a dangerous animal into your home because the storm outside is worse. Alandril waits until the demon is out of earshot. That was a risk. Everything we do here is a risk. I look at him. You would have turned it away? He stops, considers. I don't know. Before the binding, yes, without hesitation. But now, he touches the collar at his neck. Now I'm not certain of anything. Over the next 2 days, the demon keeps to itself. Stays in a room in the East Wing, emerging only for food. Other visitors give it wide berth. The atmosphere in the sanctum is tense, everyone waiting for violence that doesn't come. On the 3rd morning, hunters arrive. 4 of them, armed with blessed weapons and absolute certainty. They stop at the gates, just as the demon did. "We're tracking a demon," their leader says. "Woman in her 40s, scars on her face, eyes that have seen too much. We know it's here. Release it to us, or we'll take it by force." "The sanctum doesn't release those under its protection," Alandril replies, his voice carrying that old authority despite his diminished state. "And you cannot take anything by force within these walls. You're harboring a killer. We're providing temporary shelter to someone who claimed self-defense." I step beside Alandril. "If you have evidence of crimes beyond the killing of one of your own, present it. Otherwise, the demon's 3 days aren't up." The lead hunter's jaw clenches. "You know what you're protecting. That thing has existed for centuries, fed on human suffering. Just because it's been quiet doesn't make it innocent." "And how many beings have you killed?" Alandril asks quietly. "How much blood is on your hands in the name of protecting humanity? Does that make you guilty of murder?" "That's different." "Is it?" The standoff lasts for minutes that feel like hours. Finally, the lead hunter spits on the ground. "1 day. We'll give you 1 more day. After that, we're coming in." They withdraw, but they don't leave. They set up camp just beyond the sanctum's boundary, watching, waiting. Inside, the demon finds me in the library. They won't stop, you know that. I know. Then why protect me? I close the book I was reading, ancient text on the nature of sanctuary. Because the moment we decide who deserves protection based on what they are instead of what they've done, we become judges instead of guardians. We become the imbalance we're supposed to prevent. The demon is quiet for a long moment. The hunter I killed. He had a family, a daughter. I know. They all do. And you still... I don't know if you're evil. I don't know if you're redeemable. But I know the sanctum gave you shelter, and I won't violate that. I meet its eyes. Your 3 days are up tomorrow at dawn. After that, you're on your own. It nods slowly. Then I'll leave tonight. Spare you the confrontation. You don't have to. Yes, I do. Something almost like respect crosses its inhuman face. You're trying to be better than the old ways. That's rare. I won't be the reason it fails. After midnight, the demon slips away. I watch from a window as it moves past the hunter's camp, invisible in shadow. They never see it leave, never know how close they came to breaching the sanctum's peace. In the morning, when they discover their quarry gone, they rage, threaten, but they don't attack. The sanctum's presence, even diminished, is enough to give them pause. Eventually, they leave too. Alandril finds me still at the window. You let it go. I didn't let anything. Its time was up. You could have held it, used the dawn deadline as an excuse. Could have, didn't want to. I turned to face him. What would you have done? Before the fall, before all this? He's quiet for a long time. Before, I would have struck it down without question. Demon, evil, simple equation. He touches the collar. Now I think I'm starting to understand why Michael wept when he struck down Lucifer. Because it's never simple. Because everyone believes they're right. Everyone believes they're protecting something. And sometimes the only way to stop the fighting is to stand between and absorb the blows from both sides. We stand there in silence, looking out at the mountains. Somewhere out there the demon is running. The hunters are hunting. The old war continues in 1,000 small skirmishes. But here, for now, there's peace. Weeks pass. More visitors. More impossible decisions. A vampire seeking protection from a mob. A witch accused of murder. A hunter who killed an innocent. Each case forces us to define what we are, what we're building. We make mistakes. Turn away someone we should have helped. Shelter someone who breaks faith. But we learn. Adapt. The sanctum guides us in subtle ways. Its walls warm when we choose right. Cold when we err. One night, 6 months after the binding, I hear it. Music. No, not music. Chanting, coming from the north wing. I follow the sound to Alandril's chambers. The door is open. Inside, he's kneeling before a window. Silver moonlight painting him in shades of grey. His voice rises and falls in Enochian, the words threading together into something beautiful and mournful. I recognize it. The hymn. The one Miguel sang at the dawn of creation. Enoch mentioned it once, said it was the first song, the original prayer. I don't know why I do it. Don't think about it. I just join in. The words come naturally, pulled from the fragments of memory I absorbed during our binding. My voice is rough, human, nothing like Alandril's refined tones. But somehow they harmonize, weave together. Two parts of something that was always meant to be whole. The sanctum responds. The walls pulse with light. The stones sing back, resonating at frequencies that make the air shimmer. For the first time since the separation, I feel it. Connection. Not the invasive presence of sharing a mind, but something deeper, something chosen. The hymn ends, the light fades. Alandril turns to look at me, and there are tears on his face. You heard it. I heard it. I've been singing alone for months. I thought... He trails off. I thought I was the only one who remembered. We both remember. We both carry pieces of that moment, of what we were together. I step into the room. Maybe that's the point. Not to be separate or united, but to exist in balance. Near enough to harmonize, far enough to remain ourselves. He nods slowly, understanding passing between us without words. Outside, storm clouds gather over the peaks. Thunder rolls across the valley. But inside the sanctum, there's warmth, light. Two beings who shouldn't work together, finding a way to coexist. That night, I dream of the old threshold, of Tobias and Vera, of the watchers who died maintaining a peace they knew was fragile. In the dream, they're not angry. They're watching, waiting to see if what we're building will last longer than what they protected. I wake with tears on my face and a renewed sense of purpose. The sanctum's purpose crystallizes over the following months. We're not just providing shelter. We're creating something new. A place where the absolutes of good and evil blur. Where beings on both sides can exist without pretense, without judgment. Simply existing. It's messy, complicated. Sometimes it fails spectacularly. But sometimes miracles happen. A demon and an angel, natural enemies playing chess in the library, a hunter and a vampire, talking quietly about the people they've both lost. A witch teaching a priest about herb lore while he teaches her Latin prayers. Small moments, small victories, but they add up. 1 year after the binding, Michael returns. Not a messenger this time. The Archangel himself, manifesting in the central chamber in a pillar of light that makes my eyes water. The sanctum thrives. His voice resonates through everything. You have done well. Both of you. Alandril bows his head. I try to, but the light is too intense. The balance you maintain here is imperfect, Michael continues. But perhaps that's the point. Perfect balance is stagnation. True equilibrium requires constant adjustment, constant choice. Is the old tenant still contained? I managed to ask. For now, the creature sleeps, but it will wake eventually. All sealed things do. When that day comes, you'll face another trial. The light dims slightly, becoming more bearable. But not today. Today, I simply came to witness, to see what grows in the place where my brother fell. What do you see? Alandril asks quietly. Hope, Michael says. Fragile, uncertain, but hope nonetheless. He departs as suddenly as he came, leaving us alone in the sanctum once more. That night, another storm. Worse than usual. Lightning strikes the towers, but the sanctum absorbs it, channels it, uses it to strengthen the wards. The structure is alive, conscious, and it's learned to defend itself. I find Alandril in his chambers again, looking out at the lightning-painted sky. "Do you regret it?" I ask. "Everything you gave up?" He's quiet for a long time. "I regret the pain I caused, the lives lost. But this?" He gestures to the sanctum around us. "No, this was worth it. Even knowing you can never go back, never be what you were. Especially knowing that." He turns to face me. "Before I was certain, absolute. I knew my purpose and never questioned it. But certainty is comfortable. And comfort is dangerous. It makes you stop thinking. Stop choosing. And now I choose every day. Who to help, who to turn away, what rules to enforce and which to bend. It's exhausting and terrifying and—" He almost smiles. "And it's the most alive I've felt in millennia." I understand. Because I feel it too. The weight of constant choice. The burden of imperfect wisdom. But also the satisfaction of building something meaningful from the wreckage of what came before. "You are the threshold," I say, echoing words from so long ago. "And you are the beyond," he replies. "But now we're both." He nods. Both. Outside, the storm rages. Inside, the sanctum stands firm, and at its heart, two guardians who've learned that balance isn't about standing perfectly still. It's about constant motion, constant adjustment, constant willingness to adapt. The war between light and darkness continues, will always continue. That's the nature of existence. But here, in this place we've built from sacrifice and pain and impossible choices, there's a third option. The space between, the threshold, the place where beings can exist without being defined by either extreme. It's not much. One sanctuary against an infinite conflict. But it's ours. And for now, that's enough. Months turn into years. The sanctum becomes known throughout the hidden world. Some call it a refuge. Others call it a compromise, a surrender of principles. But they come anyway. All of them. When they have nowhere else to go. 5 years after the binding, I'm in the library when I sense it. A familiar presence approaching, not threatening but significant. Enoch. He arrives at sunset, silver eyes reflecting the dying light. He looks older somehow, though I know that's impossible. He's Nephilim. He doesn't age like humans do. "You've done well," he says, surveying the sanctum. "Better than I hoped." "You had doubts?" "Always." He smiles slightly. Doubt is healthy. Keeps you questioning, adapting. The moment you're certain, you've already failed. We walk the corridors together. He notes the changes, the sections that have grown, the new arrivals who've chosen to stay, to become part of the sanctum's permanent community. Refugees from the war who've found purpose in maintenance and protection. "Michael speaks of you often," Enoch says. "To me, in dreams, he's pleased. And for an archangel, pleasure is rare. What about the old tenant?" Enoch's expression darkens. "Still dormant, but the seal weakens. In another decade, maybe 2, it will need reinforcement. And when that time comes, you'll face it. Together." He looks at me directly. "The binding made you more than human, made Alandril less than angel. But it also created something neither heaven nor hell fully understands. A true balance. That's what will be needed when the creature wakes." We reach the central chamber. Alandril is there, as if he knew we were coming. The 3 of us stand before the altar where the collar was first placed. "The prophecy," Enoch says suddenly. "Do you remember what I said, before the binding?" "That the sanctum would be the new threshold," I reply. "And that one day the Creator himself would look upon it." Enoch nods slowly. "That day is coming. Sooner than any of us expected. The war is accelerating. Heaven and hell are choosing their champions, gathering their forces. And when the final battle begins, this place will be critical." "Why?" Alandril asks. "Because you've proven that the middle ground can hold. that beings from both sides can coexist without destroying each other. That's a truth that threatens both extremes. And threats must be either eliminated or... He trails off, but his meaning is clear. Or embraced. Enoch departs with the sunrise, leaving us with more questions than answers. 10 years after the binding, the first sign arrives. A figure at the gates, wrapped in light so pure it hurts to look at directly. An angel, but not a messenger. This is a warrior, a soldier of heaven. Alandril the Fallen, it declares. You are summoned. The War Council convenes. Your presence is required. Alandril steps forward, the collar at his neck pulsing with rapid light. I'm bound. I cannot leave the sanctum. The collar will permit it. For this purpose, the binding is temporarily lifted. I feel cold certainty settle in my gut. This is a trap. This is an opportunity, the angel corrects, to speak, to explain what you've built here, to offer an alternative to total war. Alandril looks at me. Without the connection, I can't read his thoughts. But I know him well enough now to understand his expression. He's afraid, but he's also hopeful. I'll go, he says. Then I'm coming with you, I say immediately. You're human. The council won't permit. I'm the other half of this sanctum's guardianship. If they want to understand what we've built, they need to hear from both of us, the angel considers. Very well. But know this. What waits in the council chambers will test you in ways you cannot imagine. Heaven does not forgive easily, and forgiveness is not what they're offering. We prepare to leave. The sanctum seems to resist, its walls cool with disapproval. But the collar pulses, and the resistance fades. The binding permits this journey. As we walk through the gates, following the angel toward whatever awaits, I look back at the sanctum. At the place we've built from sacrifice and impossible choices. It stands firm against the mountain. Lights burning in windows, voices drifting from within. Humans and angels and demons and things that defy classification, all coexisting in the space we've created. Whatever happens, I say to Alandril, it was worth it. He doesn't answer, but his hand finds mine. Briefly. A moment of contact that says more than words ever could. Then we turn toward heaven, toward judgment or salvation or something in between, and we walk forward together. The threshold behind us, the beyond ahead, and us, caught eternally between, doing the only thing we know how. Maintaining balance. One choice at a time. 20 years after the binding, I stand at the window of the south wing, watching dawn paint the mountains gold. Alandril is beside me, collar still gleaming at his neck, eyes still bright despite everything that's diminished in him. We survived the council. Barely. Convinced them. Barely. But we did it. Heaven and hell haven't made peace, probably never will, but they've acknowledged the sanctum's right to exist, a compromise, an imperfect solution to an impossible problem. The war continues, but here, in this place, there's shelter. Balance, hope. The first visitor of the day approaches the gates. I can't see what it is yet. Doesn't matter. If the sanctum opens for them, we'll provide sanctuary. That's who we are now. Guardians, bridges, thresholds. Neither fully one thing nor another. And for the first time in my life, that feels exactly right. You are the threshold, Alandril says softly, echoing the old words. And you are the beyond, I reply. But now we're both, we say together. Outside the sun rises. Inside the sanctum pulses with life. And somewhere, in the space between light and darkness, the balance holds. For now, for always. For as long as we remain.